Good evening from Parsley Hill Spaniels. Trying to get this right. There we are. There. You'll see the teddies coming in and out of shot, I expect. I've got my head torch on so I can see where we're going. So another spooky, oh there's a cheesy, another spooky walk through the spooky woods. We'll go down this way. We're missing an Edward and an Eric. I suspect they'll find us, or we'll find them, one or the other. There we go. Oh, so more spooky tales from the tower. Let's see. Told you about the banging on the door. Told you about the balls. Told you about the orbs. Told you about sexy knee being tucked in. Told you about Ray and his son playing with the boy princes. So what else shall we say? Oh yes. You may, oh there's an Edward. You may or may not know that the Tower of London has been doing the ceremony of the keys for well over 700 years. Nearly 800 years actually. Without fail. No stops, no nothing. During the wars it carried on. Even if it didn't have anybody there to witness it, as in people, members of the public. Should we go this way? It still went on. And I know this because when I happened to have known that we didn't have any members of the public in, I would still sneak down to see if the ceremony of the keys carried on, and it did. So it does go on, with or without members of the public. And it is the longest running military ceremony ever. It just goes on and on and on. Anyway, during the Second World War, there were a couple of deaths in the tower, and everybody that was living in the tower was informed of the undertaker coming in to take the bodies away. You have to excuse me, I've got sniffles. So, coming to take the bodies away. There we are. That's it. And seeing as obviously petrol was rationed and gas, petrol was rationed, the undertaker was going to use his horse-drawn carriage to come and collect the body that was in the casemates, and the casemates is the outer wall of the tower. So the sentry that was stationed at the bottom, just underneath the archway of the Wakefield Tower, that then goes up underneath the arch and the bloody tower and up to the parade ground. Oh, I think I've got everybody there. With the parade ground of the Jewel House. He was positioned there and he was told that this carriage would be coming through and not to worry about it. Well, the tower, oh, there's a Lucy. As you can imagine, it's right by the Thames River, and the river being tidal, ebbs and flows, it does get a little bit cold and damp, and you get the mists coming in, so it can be quite surreal actually being there. Even though we've got street lamps now, even though we've got street lamps there, they're not very bright, and so you can imagine fog coming in, mists swirling around, the coldness of the stone can be a bit eerie. Anyway, this young sentry, he was waiting, he was down there, as the sentries do, waiting for the ceremony to start, and he had his one big piece to say, halt, who comes there? And the pass should be the King's Key, or as it is now as well, the King's Keys, past King's Keys, all is well. So anyway, the sentry's down there by the at the bottom of the Wakefield Tower, by the archway along Water Street in the Tower of London, opposite Traitor's Gate. And he's there waiting, and it is a bit nippy and that. And he sees a horse-drawn coach come up, carriage. Doesn't think anything of it because the horse has got the plumes on, as they do for funeral directors. They have the plumes on the horses when they're pulling a hearse. And off it went, round to the side there, round past him, and on it, making its way along to the casemates to pick up the body that was there of the person that had passed. Off it went, and he thought nothing of it until 5 minutes later, another one came along. Only this one stopped by him and said, "Oi mate, can you point me in the right direction? I need to get to so-and-so, the casemates." And he said, "Well, hadn't you just come round?" And he said, "No, nobody's just come round. I'm the only one." And he said, "You sure? I think you're fine." Anyway, he didn't believe it, so off he sent this one. Told him where it was. I thought that was a bit funny. A few minutes later, carriage comes back. Nobody on it. And as he's looking at the carriage, it's going past him and it starts to disappear in front of his eyes. Safe to say that that lad didn't actually get to say his big speech for the ceremony of the keys. He passed out. They had to replace him. So who knows who that one was for, that carriage. Let's see, what else has happened there? Oh, when me and the Major lived there, and our daughter, and Branston and Stinky, we'd take Branston and Stinky out for a walk, and if it was getting on for 9:30, we wouldn't rush to get back because we knew the ceremony of the keys would be going on, which takes place at 9:45 and finishes at 10. So we'd dawdle back and come in through the gates because nobody's allowed in or out while the ceremony's going on. So we dawdle our way back. Well, one night we were coming back, and it was about this darkness, and we saw a gentleman and his daughter, and they were just underneath or just past the archway to Tower Hill tube station, and they were overlooking the moat where they've got all these signs and little plaques, and it tells you all about what's going on in the tower and things like that. And we could hear him in his big Texan, he was a Texan accent, saying, and I can't do a Texan accent, so I'm not going to do one. "I'm really sorry, Brittany." That was his daughter. "I'm sorry, I just didn't get out of work in time. I was hoping to get out of work on time to show you all around." Edward going off. Show you all around. We were hoping to get here so we could go and see the jewels and everything else. Sorry we couldn't do it. So, we're flying out tomorrow to go and meet your mum in France. Blah, blah, blah. So we came up and we said, excuse us, we couldn't help it over here. Would you like to come and see the ceremony of the keys? And we think he didn't believe us at first, but he obviously thought, what the hell, I've got nothing to lose. And so he was very surprised when we walked him into the tower, and he got to see the ceremony of the keys with his daughter. And then I went and put the teddies back into our flat because we were living in the old hospital block then. So I went and put the teddies back up in the flat, and then I came back down to meet them. I can see glaring eyes. I don't think anybody else can. There you go. It's Gladys. So, came back down to meet him. And Rob got the keys, or went and fetched some keys, I should say, and so opened up a few of the towers, because obviously they've been closed up. And we could take them in there, but we couldn't put the big lights on, so it was all the infrared red lights in there. And one particular one that we took them in was the medieval palace, which is the one over Traitor's Gate. I know they've since redone it in there, but at the time you could see the throne and you could see the council's table. And so Rob said to them, hubby said to him, come on sit at the council's table, and Heather will take a few photos for you. So I did. I took a few photos for them, sat at the council's table. What are you up to, Boogie Mama? What have you found? And we did that, and then we said, right, okay, we're off to the next one then. So Rob led them out, and I watched the Major and his shadow leave. I watched the Texan and his shadow leave, and I watched little Brittany, his daughter, who must have been about, I don't know, 14 or 15, and yes, she was called Brittany, leave along with her shadow. But there was another shadow still sat at the table. Bearing in mind this is, you know, red light as well. And so it was a case of, okay, that's a bit weird, everybody's shadow's gone. I thought at first it was my shadow, but no, I could see my shadow. It was definitely not mine that was sat at the table. And so I said, go on then, off you go, everybody else has gone. And the shadow got up, turned around and walked through the wall. So yeah, a little bit weird. I wouldn't say it was a ghost, but it was definitely weird. Look at this lot enjoying themselves. Lots and lots of spooky things happened at the tower. The Well Tower, which is where the Yeoman Warders private club is and bar, is well known for having a little boy being seen there, and he's normally in Tudor, late Tudor, early Stuart clothing. Not very well, let's say, not very well off financially, so I wouldn't say he was an aristocrat, but he wasn't, you know, a pauper. Quite often see him. And the ladies, the wives of the Yeoman Warder at the time, got used to seeing him there, especially if they were making buffets for clubs and things that were coming in. I think they named him Tom. They decided he was a Tom. But they never felt any, there was nothing malicious or evil, or, I don't believe in evil, but malicious or foreboding. It's just very quiet. It's just like having a little boy of any kind sat there, just watching them do things. So you see them as well. Look at you. What are you eating? Or don't we want to know? We probably don't want to know. Spooky woodies. How quiet it is here. How dark it is as well. That's our solar lights, you can see. And those little glistening ones are the eyes of the teddies. They're being picked up with the light from the head torch. Yeah, so there's quite a few goings on at the tower. Loads more things there happening. And I'm sure if you go on HRP Tower of London website, there'll be more stories and that. But I thought, why not tell you a few of the things that I personally know of and have experienced? So there you are. Anyway, I'm going to get these lot in. It's a little bit nippy. Still not dressed correctly. Still in flip-flops, never mind. What the heck, it's October. Perhaps when we get some of the white stuff down, I'll actually put slippers on to come out. Anyway, until next time, have a good evening, everybody. I'm not sure when I'll post this. It will be within the next few days, so it may be actually on Halloween, or it may be just before. But anyway, have a lovely, happy Halloween to everyone. Don't get too scared out there, okay? And until next time, happy sniffs.